Yo, it's your boy Smoke Bath and Madden video. Today's video, we're going to be rebuilding the Chicago Bears in Madden 25 franchise. Now, the Bears obviously drafted Caleb Williams with the first overall selection in last year's draft. He didn't perform bad at all, but not really as great as people were expecting right off the bat. But I still feel like he will be a stud in the future. Let's go to take a little bit of overview of the Chicago Bears roster in general. Offensive line isn't horrible besides the center and right guard. Definitely need a new one. Receiving core is actually kind of underrated. Cole Kmet is really good. I like him, and I like DeAndre Swift. Defense needs a little bit of work. We need defensive tackle. We're going to need a right outside linebacker. And we're going to need another solid quarterback, I feel like. But other than that, it's not too bad. And we go ahead, and we didn't do any moves in the first season. And we finished 8-9, 85 overall, and an 87 overall offense. So 8-9 is honestly a little bit better than what I thought we would. Caleb Williams with 3,468 passing yards on the year, 38 passing touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Actually a really good year for Caleb Williams. 66 completion percentage. He was sacked 32 times, so that's actually, 32 times is a little bit, but I think he was sacked a lot more this year. I think he was sacked like over 50. Now let's see how DeAndre Swift did in the running game. He got 1,006 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. Caleb Williams has 5 rushing touchdowns as well with 302 yards. DeAndre Swift had 3 fumbles, which is actually a little bit concerning, not going to lie. Rome Odunze with 967 receiving yards off 74 receptions and 14 receiving touchdowns. So Odunze did a pretty good this year. Keenan Allen, 794 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. DJ Moore with 11 receiving touchdowns, 792 yards. Cole Kmet with 475 yards. And then for the defensive side of the ball, Tremaine Edmonds was our leading tackle. And then DeMarcus Walker was our tackles for loss. I was not expecting him to be our leader for tackles for loss. And he was our leader for sacks with only 4.5. Our leader only had 4.5 sacks. Tremaine Edmonds leads in interceptions with 7, though. And then Jalen Johnson, obviously one of the best pieces on the Bears defense. He was second with 6 interceptions. So these are the people we're going to be losing after the year. Sadly, we're going to be losing Tevin Jenkins. I feel like he's actually one of the most underrated left guards in the game. I actually like him in real life a lot, but he's not interested in signing with us in Madden, so I guess we'll go ahead and see you later. Keenan Allen, 79 overall, and is a little old, so we're not too interested in getting him. We weren't able to get a left guard in free agency, but we did get a solid center. We got Ryan Kelly. Now, Ryan Kelly is 32 years old, so he's a little older, but we got him on a 1-year deal. So if we make any noise, which we probably won't next year, but if we do, we got a solid center. And then we also got Cam Akers, just a nice backup. So we had the 15th overall pick. We're going to take Will Campbell, the left tackle from LSU. Now, the Chicago Bears, obviously, I think their biggest need is offensive line, and I don't really think there's any dispute there. Maybe defensive tackle, but I would say offensive line is just more a priority. Then we got a right end, Elijah Allen. Then we got wide receiver in the 3rd round. And we make playoffs after the draft or the free agency. So we went from 8-9 to 11-6. So pretty good season right there. We definitely improved quite a bit. Let's go see how Caleb Williams did. 3,518 passing yards with 28 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's really efficient with the football. I mean, he didn't get 30 passing touchdowns, but that's still a really impressive season. 71 completion percentage as well. DeAndre Swift, he didn't get 1,000 yards, but keep in mind, he is sharing the ball with Cam Akers. So 957 yards, 11 rushing touchdowns for DeAndre Swift. Caleb Williams with 377 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Cam Akers with 9 rushing touchdowns. Rome Odunze with 1,066 yards, 8 receiving touchdowns. DJ Moore was able to get 10 receiving touchdowns with 814 yards. And then Justin Ross was able to get over 500 yards. Leading in tacklers is Tremaine Edmonds again. And then we got Breaker. And then we got Montez Sweat leading for tackles for loss. Elijah Allen, the rookie, is second with tackles for loss with 12. Leading in sacks is with only 4 is Montez Sweat. We really need to get a better pass rush. And Brisker was the leader with 4 interceptions. And Jalen Johnson was right there with 3. So we got eliminated the first round of playoffs against the Dallas Cowboys, a 24-30 loss. So the them boys were able to hold us our L in the 2025 NFL postseason. So Caleb Williams, he could have did a lot better. He did get a lot of passing yards, 355 passing yards, but he had 2 interceptions, which is not good, especially in a playoff game, not good at all. 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dak Prescott had 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. Rico Dowdle with 85 yards off of 18 attempts. Roma Dunze, he did really solid for us like he has been in the regular season. 10 receptions with 146 yards and 1 reception. It looks like Dallas Cowboys drafted the Ohio State receiver, so that will be interesting. I don't think that's going to happen in real life, obviously, but that's what Madden says is going to happen. TJ Edwards got an interception, Malik Hooker got an interception, and Deron Bland got an interception. All right, these are all the people we're going to be losing that are not interested in us or want too much money. We weren't able to get Brisker, which does kind of suck. He was a pretty solid safety. Not bad at all. Braxton Jones, he wasn't really that interested. It says his resign interest is high, but I tried resigning him like 3 times throughout the year, and he said no every single time, and I gave him the offer he wanted. So I guess he really wasn't that interested. Anyway, we got Joe Thunley in free agency. Now he's a little older, but he's still a 91 overall. Very good left guard. I know we just signed Cam Akers, but we're going to get James Cook. James Cook was actually fairly cheap. He's an 88 overall, too, and he's only 26, so he at least has 5 more solid years until he starts actually regressing. Romeo Doubs coming to the division rival. He was a Green Bay Packer. Now he's a Chicago Bear. We got another receiver as well, Jawan Jennings. Just needed a little bit of depth in the offensive weapons. And we drafted, this auto generated obviously since it's 2 years down the road, a left outside linebacker who is a 74 overall. Then we got Theo Favors, quarterback who's a 75 overall, and then a 75 overall middle linebacker. Then we got a 67 defensive tackle. I would like to see our defensive tackles actually start to be good because we need some kind of pass rush. And we went 5-12, so I don't really understand how we went from 11-6 to 5-12. Especially, I don't think we even fell off that hard. We did nothing but get better. We got James Cook, we got Romeo Doubs, we got Joe Thunley, and we only lost like Braxton Jones, so I have no clue why we did that bad. Anyway, Caleb Williams' stats on the year, 3,849 yards, 38 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. James Cook, 957 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Caleb Williams with 479 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. DeAndre Swift with 301 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Cam Akers, 13 attempts. I think he said he had like a little bit over 40 yards and he had 1 rushing touchdown. Maybe I signed a little bit too much running backs, but it is whatever because I think Cam Akers is on the last year of his deal coming up. Roma Dunze, 1,239 receiving yards, 12 receiving touchdowns. DJ Moore still doing solid, got 9 receiving touchdowns. TJ Edwards is the leading tackler, and then we got Tremaine Edmonds. Then we got Jordan Whitehead, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, tackles for loss. Zach Pickens, Graven Dexter, Montez Sweat, sacks, Elijah Allen, the rookie last year. He has now got 1 year of experience under his belt. So he was our leader in sacks after his second year. Tyreek Stevenson got 2 interceptions, and he led the team with 2. Actually, there was a few other people that got 2 as well. Oh, okay, so it wasn't Cam Akers that was on the last year of his deal. It is DeAndre Swift. And I actually did try re-signing him and just trying to trade Cam Akers, but he's really not that interested, and they're giving me the franchise tag option. I'm just going to let him walk. I mean, we do got James Cook. So now James Daniels is on our team. He is a good right guard. Our whole line is 80+ now, I believe, so definitely our offensive line has improved a lot from what we have started from. And then we got DJ Reed Jr. We really need a solid quarterback that other than Jalen Johnson. I don't think Tyreek Stevenson is bad by any means, but is he one of the league's best second quarterbacks in the league? No. Anyway, we drafted Johnny LeBlanc, defensive tackle. He was a 78 overall. We got him with a 3rd overall pick since, we only did 5-12 apparently. And then we got Elliott Fitzpatrick at strong safety, a 71 overall. And then we got a quarterback, a 73 overall, Jahan Roten, I think is how you would pronounce that. Caleb Barkley, a tight end. Then Spencer Whiteside, a receiver. Then Deshaun Cartwright. And then another wide receiver. Hopefully those late round picks bail us out. But we're finally going to do our first trade of this rebuild. And I just really haven't done a trade because I felt like it was actually going pretty good. We got a young quarterback. We were building up in free agency pretty solidly. But anyway, we're going to get rid of Jawan Jennings. I realized Caleb Williams doesn't need all those receivers. So anyway, getting rid of Jawan Jennings, a 2nd and a 3rd round pick for Jalen Petrie. We need a solid safety. And we finished the year with 13-4 record. So definitely a massive improvement from the 5-12 record we just had. And then the year before that, we were 11-6. So, it's a little wonky right now. But hey, we got another playoff appearance, so I'm not going to complain at all. Caleb Williams with 3,574 passing yards, 32 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. This guy is really efficient with the football. 70% completion, a rating of 113.8, only sacked 28 times. Let's take a look at James Cook's numbers. 1,122 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns. Not bad, but I was honestly expecting a little bit better. Okay, we used Cam Akers actually quite a bit. Cam Akers had a really good year for his standards. I mean, over 500 yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. Rome Odunze is been the leading receiver for a while for us, but he only had 880 yards, but that was enough to lead the team. 10 receiving touchdowns, 846 yards for DJ Moore, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Romeo Doubs, 750 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. Cole Kmet, 537 yards. TJ Edwards leading tackles, then Tremaine Edmonds. Then we got Elliott Fitzpatrick, the rookie, so that is nice to see a rookie up there. DJ Reed, he looks like that signing did us all right. Graven Dexter is again leading in tackles for loss. Elijah Allen leading in sacks, and then Johnny LeBlanc. Then interceptions is Jalen Johnson with 4, and then looks like we got TJ and Tremaine Edmonds tied with 3. So even though we went 13-4, our first round exits to the Washington Commanders in a 24-20 loss. So yeah, I don't know. We were really close to becoming the first seed. We were 1 game away from being the first seed in the NFC, but now we are first round exits. So it's kind of similar how the Vikings were this year. But yeah, so I don't know what we're really going to do to improve. Like, I don't know. We need to get over this hump of the playoffs. Like, I don't think we've made it past the first round yet. So Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels, that is definitely an amazing story in the playoffs. Let's go and take a look at the numbers in the rushing game. Cam Akers got a rushing touchdown for us. Romeo Doubs, 5 receptions, 79 yards. DJ Moore with 65 receiving yards and a touchdown. Doami Brown with a receiving touchdown. Let's go check the defense. TJ Edwards was the leading tackler. And then let's go ahead. See anyone else? Jazar, no, it's mainly Commanders right there. Sacks. Oh, there was actually quite a bit of sacks in this game. No interceptions, so everyone played clean football. All right, so let's try to get over this hump of the first round of the playoffs. This is the people we're going to be losing. No one major at all. Actually, really no one beneficial besides maybe TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards is kind of a key role player on our defense, but we could try to replace him. We could try our best. Anyway, we had one of the biggest free agencies we've had in this, probably the whole franchise series. But we got Jalen Carter, a 93 overall, and he's only 27 years old. We went out and spent a bag on him. We got Xavier Worthy, an 89 overall, and he's only 25 years old. Then we got Jake Campbell, a great middle linebacker. He's an 89 overall, and he's only 28 years old. Then we got Terrell Arnold, an 88 overall, who's only 26 years old. That is by far our best free agency class we have done, and we're going to make another trade because we don't have Ryan Kelly anymore because he obviously is not, he's on a 1-year deal, so we've been kind of using a mid-center, but we are going to trade DJ Moore and a first-round pick for Jackson Powers Johnson. We need center. I don't care. DJ Moore is getting kind of old. He's like 33 at this point. We got Romeo Doubs to replace him. And then we also got Cole Kmet. And Roma Dunze is definitely ready to be wide receiver 1. He basically has been our receiver 1. Anyway, we made playoffs, obviously. Caleb Williams with 3,586 passing yards, 32 passing touchdowns with 6 interceptions, 73 completion percentage, and then a rating of 120.3. James Cook with 936 yards, or 996 yards, 13 receiving rushing touchdowns. And then Caleb Williams, he did solid with 2 rushing touchdowns. Cam Akers with 8 rushing touchdowns. Roma Dunze again leading in receiving with 1,288 yards. 17 receiving touchdowns for Roma Dunze is crazy. Xavier Worthy with 4 receiving touchdowns. That was definitely a good signing. Jake Campbell is our leading tackler with 128 yards, 128 tackles, and then 96 tackles. Jalen Carter with 21 tackles for loss. And then we got Campbell, and then we got Johnny LeBlanc. Johnny LeBlanc is the leading in sacks, and then we got Jalen Johnson leading in interceptions with 6, leading by quite a bit. So we are able to make it past the first round, so that is good. We were the 5th seed taking on the Seattle Seahawks. We were able to beat the Seahawks in a 28-24 win, but then we faced the division rival Green Bay Packers, and we were not able to get a win over them as we lose 28-24, the same score as the Seattle Seahawks game. So Jordan Love was able to give the Chicago Bears an L, and unfortunately for the Bears fans, the Packers tradition of just owning the Bears continues. Sorry to any Bears fans watching. But soon you guys will have your revenge with Caleb Williams in real life and in this rebound, I promise. Anyway, Jordan Love had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Lai Saborn, I think he's like our 4th or 5th receiver. He got 102 yards and a touchdown. Roman Dunze with 7 receptions, 81 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Dontavian Wicks got 63 yards. Cole Kmet, 36 yards. Roman Dunze wasn't really notable in this big playoff game, which is kind of rough to see, but he's given us such good years that it's okay that he choked in this game because it wasn't his fault in the other ones. Jose Davenport was the one with the interception. All right, guys, we're getting to the points of the rebound where it is starting to get pretty late, and I don't want to make the video super long for you guys, so since there's not many draft picks, I'm not going to show you the draft picks. If there's not many free agents that we signed, I'm not going to show you guys that. But as you guys saw, we just went 17-0. Yes, we went absolutely undefeated. How we did it, I don't know. We had the same roster that we had last year, okay? But we were able to go undefeated. Caleb Williams with 3,869 yards, 34 passing touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, a 73 completion percentage. James Cook with 1,206 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. Deshaun Cartwright, he did really good, and we drafted him a while ago, I think like 3 years ago. 444 rushing yards with 13 rushing touchdowns. Roman Dunze is back to having a good year. Well, actually, he had a good year last year. He had 17 receiving touchdowns. Roman Dunze has been an absolute stud for us. Roman Dunze with 1,283 yards, 14 receiving touchdowns. Xavier Worthy with 5 receiving touchdowns and 970 yards. Cole Kmet is doing solid like he always does. He at least is going to put up solid numbers. Jake Campbell leading in tackles, then Tremaine Edmonds, then Elliott Fitzpatrick, Terrell Arnold. Tackles for loss, we're going to see Jalen Carter, the man who just got an absolute bag from us, so that is good to see. He is stopping the run attack from the offenses. Johnny LeBlanc is leading in sacks, then Elijah Allen. These auto-generated guys are studs after 2 to 3 years because Madden just makes them a stud. Anyway, 4 picks for Jalen Johnson. All right, and we made it to the Super Bowl, guys. So, I mean, we have potential to make absolute history, to go absolutely undefeated. So, we're going to face the Buffalo Bills. It is the Chicago Bears versus the Buffalo Bills. Chicago Bears got Caleb Williams still, obviously. Buffalo Bills, they said Greg Rousseau still, and they had Josh Allen still. I'm a little nervous, but hopefully we were able to get it done. And this would definitely be one of the best rebuilds I ever did if we could get an undefeated team to the Super Bowl, 17-0, and now they're in the biggest game where it matters most. Let's go ahead and try to get the Lombardi Trophy to make this season worth something. I mean, with an undefeated season, it is already kind of worth something because that's so historic, but obviously you want the Super Bowl. Who doesn't want the Super Bowl? That is what teams work to get every single offseason. So, Bills are going to score first. We're obviously doing a super sim since the rebuild. I don't want to interfere at all. Now it's tied up, and it's 7-14 Bills, but it's our ball. Oh, back to Bills' ball. Oh, Bills are back up by 2 possessions. Okay. Oh, Bills are up by, yeah, okay, the Bills are definitely going to win this one. And we were not able to win the Super Bowl in our undefeated season. A little bit heartbreaking, but we are going to try our best to move on because we still have Caleb Williams. He's very young, okay? And we have a young team in general. We got Roman Dunze, Romeo Dobbs, Xavier Worthy. We got Jalen Carter. We might be back in the Super Bowl. We definitely should be within the next 3 years. At least I'm hoping. If Madden simulation doesn't absolutely despise us for some reason, we will be back. Josh Allen with 3 passing touchdowns. Caleb Williams with 2. 210 yards for Josh Allen, 250 for Caleb Williams. Keaton Mitchell with 56 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. James Cook facing his former team in the Super Bowl, and he did not perform. Only 6 attempts for 28 yards. Rough to see. Roman Dunze with 2 receiving touchdowns and 74 yards. Xavier Worthy with 77 yards. Dalton Kincaid got a touchdown, it looks like. And let's go and check the defensive side of the ball, actually, even though there was no interceptions. But let's go and see who got the tackles and stopped the run game. So tackles or sacks, Ed Oliver had 3. Or no, Smiley had 3, then Ed Oliver had 1. And no interceptions, obviously. So we are back to making the playoffs. We are 12-5. 12-5, it wasn't quite 17-0, but 12-5 is obviously still a good record. We are going to face the San Francisco 49ers in the first round, but obviously we got to go ahead and check the statistics, see how our team's doing. Caleb Williams did really good, 34 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. James Cook, 950 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns. Caleb Williams with 3 rushing touchdowns, 369 yards. Sean Cartwright, 9 rushing touchdowns, 310 yards. Rome Odunze with 1,082 yards and 12 receiving touchdowns. Xavier Worthy was 883 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns off of 74 receptions. Romeo Dobbs with 54 receptions and 661 yards. Cole Kmet, he is still putting up solid numbers. All right. Now, Adams, actually, our right at sound linebacker was leading tackles. A little bit shocked. Johnny LeBanc leading in tackles for loss. Then Jalen Carter with 13. Sacks is Johnny LeBlanc again. Then Jalen Carter with 10. Elijah Allen, Eric Adams, Graven Dexter. Interceptions was Theo Favors. Wow, Jalen Johnson wasn't the leader. So Jalen Johnson only had 3. I'm sure he was still pretty productive, though. And we're back to the Super Bowl. Okay, 12-5 record facing the New England Patriots, who also had a 12-5 record. We have a better overall team. They have a slightly better offense, I think that's telling us. But we have a better defense. Do they still have Drake May? Oh, no, they do not. They have Brock Purdy. So throughout the timeline of this Madden rebuild, the New England Patriots were able to land Brock Purdy. So let's go ahead and see if Brock Purdy is able to get a Super Bowl as a New England Patriots, or if we can win a Super Bowl and get this rebuild complete. So back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, and hopefully we can win this time. This time we are receiving the ball. I remember last time in the Super Bowl, we were kicking it off to start. And we're going to start and get on the board with 7 points, and then now it's 14-3. Now it's 17-3, 17-10. Now it's getting a little close. We're starting to pull away. 10-point lead, 13-point lead. Oh, now it's getting really close, actually. Oh, the Patriots take the lead. We got a minute left, and we came back. We had a game-winning drive. Oh, my God. We came back. So a 26-24 win. Brock Purdy is still not able to get a ring as a New England Patriot. We were able to finish the rebuild as the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are champions, and they haven't heard that since 1985, I think. So very long time. I believe that's the last time they won. Very long time. Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams was able to bring the Bears back to their glory days when they had William Perry, Walter Payton, there were some historic people on the Bears. Caleb Williams, 1 passing touchdown and 250 yards. Brock Purdy with 253 yards, 1 passing touchdown, but 2 interceptions from Brock Purdy. Quashawn Jenkins was drafted by the New England Patriots, according to Madden, and he had 48 yards in the Super Bowl with 2 rushing touchdowns. James Cook had a rushing touchdown. Auto-generated guy for the Patriots had 103 yards. Rome Odunze, 79 yards and a receiving touchdown. Cole Kmet with 31 receiving yards. Jalen Johnson was the leading tackler, okay, for us. Oh, wait, no, he wasn't. Oh, yeah, he was, actually. But he wasn't leading in the game, but still really good. Sacks, wow, not many sacks. Actually, there was 4 sacks, but still really good for us. And Jalen Johnson and Elliott Fitzpatrick were both got an interception. And the Chicago Bears, it is down in history. In 2030, they are Super Bowl champions. 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Caleb Williams. NFL MVP was Joe Burrow. 2029 season. This is just a recap of all the seasons on the franchise, if you guys were interested. Bills won the Super Bowl, obviously. We know that. We were there. We experienced that. First time Super Bowl champs. The Buffalo Bills. 2028, it was the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chargers were able to get their first Super Bowl in history. And it looks like Joe Burrow went 3 years in a row winning the MVP. Arizona Cardinals, another first-time Super Bowl champion. This time beating the Miami Dolphins. Patrick Mahomes on the MVP. And the New York Jets with Quinn Ewers won the Super Bowl against the Detroit Lions. Patrick Mahomes was the MVP. And the Detroit Lions beat the New York Jets the year before. So they had a little bit of a rematch. And then the 2024 season, the Baltimore Ravens absolutely blow out the Green Bay Packers. And Patrick Mahomes was the MVP for that season as well. This is around the end of the video. Make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. If you guys enjoy Madden 25 content, rebuilds, career sims, NFL analysis in general. If you like the NFL, if you like Madden, I highly recommend you subscribe with post notifications on. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.